Sanjeev Hota is Assistant Vice President, Research IT at Sharekhan. He's joining in right now. Sanjeev, as always, good to have you with us here on Infosys Day. What do you make of the results and what do you make of the guidance?
Guidance is in line with expectation. This is what the state was expecting, and Infosys has met the expectation on most of the count. But what is the important aspect of the result is the commentary from the management. They are sounding much more optimistic and confident than the 4 or 5 quarters back, and that is what is important for the Infosys going forward. And this is what going to gain momentum from the positive commentary that is coming from the management, and that is the important aspect of the result.
I thought the important aspect in the quarter would be the rationale behind all these reorganization changes and what is really going on, Sanjeev. Because let's accept it, market has a love affair with Infosys, and maybe rightly so. And the logic seems to be that the demand environment is strong, and that will carry the day. That will carry Infosys through at the end of the day, because the demand is strong, and maybe it's getting even stronger. So, all these things can be ignored. But is that really true, Sanjeev? Had the demand environment be slightly different, and had it been, even any other company, I don't think we would have had the performance on the stock that we've had at Infosys over the last couple of months.
Given that, if you see that after Nayan Murthy joined in, the stock has outperformed, and everybody is betting on the Nayan Murthy. So definitely the fear is that on the back of top managers are leaving the company. But I would like to give a positive to Infosys, given that they have now betting on this you are Pravin Rao and Vijay Srinivas for the next CEO or CEO position. So I think that's the end of the attrition of the top managers, and from things it looks better from now on. And I think if we will gain from the better demand environment, and I think the attrition of the top managers now looks behind.
Yeah, but there's been no logic which has been provided. That's my point for all the exits which have happened. Absolutely no logic has been provided. We hear statements after the exits, but there has not been very much by way of what is really going on. Why are people leaving? Sanjeev, as an analyst, who did you interact with most at Infosys? Was it V. Balakrishnan? He seemed to be the face to investors and analysts.
Bala is earlier used to interact. Now after he stepped down from CFO, he was not interacting with analysts.
Right. So you talk to Rajiv Bansal now?
Yeah, more to do with Rajiv Bansal and other finance guy.
Right. What else stood out from the Infosys results, Sanjeev? What else do you want to sort of highlight? Volume growth, I think, came in at about 0.7% or so. That's a bit of a disappointment.
No, not exactly. If you see the overall top line growth of 1.5%, it was quite in line with the estimate. Our estimate was over 2.2%, but given that this is a seasonally soft quarter for the entire IT sector, we will not make out much of this muted volume growth. But what is important for Infosys, as I said, is the positive commentary, and look at the margin surprise. 25% EBIT margin, if they are going to sustain this kind of margin in the coming quarters, that's a big surprise. So that stood out for Infosys, the good commentary and positive margin surprise.
12 quarters back, that's 3 years back, margins were 30%, right? What is your sense? How far can they actually go back to being closer to those kind of numbers?
I don't think they will get back to what they used to have in the earlier years. But what is important for Infosys is that it's a function of the growth. If growth is going to come back to the system, definitely we'll see a margin improvement. going forward. But if you see from the last 2 years, the growth was missing in the Infosys, and that has taken the toll on the margin. So now we see that the growth is coming back into the system. So definitely margin is going to improve, but I don't think Infosys is going to get back to the margin they have enjoyed in the prior to 2010 level, 36% kind of margin. They are not going to get back to that kind of margin, given that there's a pricing pressure in the industry and most of the ADM services now been commoditized. So I don't think the margin will going to get back to that kind of level. But having said that, given the growth is going to come back to the system, margin is definitely going to improve from here on.
Sanjeev, great talking to you. Thanks very much for coming on with that perspective on Infosys as always.